Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be.
Well, good afternoon, my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice to see you. We've got a little bit to go over. Why is the profile for this assailant not released when we still do not have a subject in custody?
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hello, my beauties. Hello, Mike. You are right. Brian was talking about it, and I just happened to come across it, and I'm thinking they make some valid points, but it really wasn't that I was coming across. It was Jennifer Coffindaffer's X post. I missed it. I missed Brian's whole live. I just actually watched it. We got some nice notes. We got 3 spots. We're going for contacts. We got 3 spots that we're going to be looking at, 12 marker, 16 marker, and 32 marker. And we got the Jennifer Coffindaffer. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm Bullhorn Betty. This is Nancy Guthrie. She's been ripped out of her home in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. And some of the FBI agents that we have out here on the platform for commentation is saying, why isn't more being released by the FBI to help aid in solving this case? We're going on 3 months. We're already well into our 3rd month, and we've got nothing. We're, everybody's kind of freaking out here. And yeah, we do have the release of the photos. We got the release of the, a video on the outside of the lady's home. So we know her family's not the one that did this to her. We know somebody did. How they came about to be on the outside of her home is unknown at this moment. How did they transport her? That's unknown at this moment. I mean, we can speculate, but the information we have on the record is very nil. We don't have a lot, yet we have no results. And so there are some FBI agents that's saying, hey, is there more that the FBI can be redoing or be doing? Is there something that they could be releasing, such as the profile, right? These FBI agents, from my understanding, as they're getting details of how the assailant moved, how the assailant acted as they know it inside that home, how that assailant acted as they know it on the outside of that home, that would go all into this profile and helping identify who this may be. And what if we had that one family member or that one friend on the fence saying, I think that's my friend. I think that's my family member. And because we don't have this profile, and if this profile is released and says a detail, and they're like, oh, it is them, because a lot of us, let's face it, are in shock. We don't want to believe, look at Luke Daly's mom. She is absolutely shocked as to why anybody came knocking on her door. She's got a 40-year-old son that's a criminal living with her, and she's shocked that law enforcement show up on her door. Okay, that's the denial that we have a lot of families that are in when it comes to their children or family member that is, theoretically a criminal, somebody that engages in criminal conduct. There are some of us in the chat that used to engage in this very criminal conduct, maybe not to this extent, but there's some of us that have had a walk. So, the shock of this day and age, if somebody knocked on my door, knocked on my mom's door, my mom's like, is my daughter dead? Wouldn't be like but once upon a time, if law enforcement came knocking on my door, or my parents' door, one of them would be like, what did she do now? And you guys understand that. I know that there's a few people in this chat that identify with that. So could this help get somebody over the line in coming forward and telling on their family member, lover, friend, or acquaintance? Like, somebody has to think, man, that looks like so-and-so. Man, I was on a job and I remember that one guy. Remember that one guy? He always had that little light in his mouth. He kind of looked like that, didn't he? Right? And so there for a while, let's kind of go back in time a little bit. Let's rewind a little bit. So like February 10th is where we learn about this guy right here, right? This masked assailant on the outside of Nancy's home. Now, many of us thought that they were tracing, I think there was a few things that they were looking at when they were looking for the suspect. Remember, they kind of smashed and grabbed Carlos, and then they did a smash and grab on Luke Daly, right? I want to call it smash and grab because I have never seen such theatrics just to question a few people. And I'm laughing at that, but I'm laughing at that because it's not a good thing. I mean, in all fairness, we didn't need the SWAT team to go and, execute a warrant for questioning. I'm pretty sure an officer could have went and knocked on the door and said, hey, would you mind coming down to the station? I'm pretty sure anybody would have done that, I mean, with the exception of Luke Daly, because I kind of feel like they did that. There was something his mom said that it's like, yeah, even though news reporters were at the door, although they didn't have cameras. And it's like, lady, you knew that those were not news reporters. There was no reason why news reporters would be 2.5 miles away from this lady's house knocking on your door. So there was just a lot of stuff, related to Luke Daly and his mom that just didn't ring true. But it makes me wonder, because some people actually thought maybe they were identifying a profile at that point, because if you look at the details, although I took out the vehicle description of the gray SUV, but some people identified it as maybe this is a profile as well, because both of these guys lived with their mom, with the exception of Carlos. He lived with his mother-in-law. In my opinion, kind of the same difference, you know. And I thought it was possible that maybe this is a profile identity marker that they don't want people to know that they've identified as the assailant, most likely living at home with his mommy or daddy. You know, we don't know what that is, but would it benefit us to know what's in that profile, and not just that profile, but other things. I think Jennifer Coffindaffer, she had multiple things here. She says, let me just put this up behind me. That'd probably be the easiest. I want to be on the left or the right of it. I think I'll do the right of it. Okay. So she writes this about Nancy Guthrie. She says, yes, I'm disappointed that the FBI does not change their billboard to feature the porch guy. That's going to be another talking point. Why are they not changing it to show the porch guy? You would think that, you know, we're looking for the porch guy, okay? I think pretty much everybody has identified that we're not going to find Miss Nancy Guthrie without finding the porch guy. Okay, so before we get started, let me say hi to everybody. We have 129 people in chat right now. If you guys haven't already done it, please go out there and hit that thumbs up button. If you're just coming into the chat for the first time and you've never been here, you're going to have to subscribe, but it's free, in order to chat into our chat box over to the side or down below, depending on what device you're on, about this case. And of course, we're covering the Nancy Guthrie case. 84-year-old grandma ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night. We have no idea who the masked gunman is. We've got the FBI and Pima County Sheriff working on the case. We had a lot of problems with Mr. Chris Nanos, Sheriff Chris Nanos. It sounds like he should probably be in jail with some of the people he throws in jail. But hey, you know, I'm just saying, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. Good gracious, I cannot believe that sheriff is such a criminal. That sheriff, if he was arrested, he'd have probably more of an arrest record than Bullhorn Betty. I'm just saying, not playing. There are the haves and have-nots. It just shows you not the laws of justice don't swing equally, folks. It just doesn't. That's why we're here. We need to level the playing field. That's what we do, level the playing field. But it's nice to see you, so come on in. We're going to be talking about a serious matter. You know, there are some things, there are some tools that could help bring some light to this case. Not just light to this case, but actually help solve this case. And I think one thing would be billboards with the blessed porch guy. Let's say, yeah? Billboards. I mean, if we're paying for the billboards, let's get the billboards, not just with her face on it, but with his face on it too. Okay? I think that is step one. But it's nice to see everybody coming in. Let me just take a few moments to say hi. Denise, first person to say hi to us, followed by Deb. Mike, it's nice to see you. Veronica, Eeyore Blue, Downey, Deb, it's nice to see you. Julie, Let Them 66. Hello, Deanna. Briggs, it's nice to see you. Faye, Nana Peg, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Dixie. Hey, love, I hope you're doing well. Patricia, Cinderella, our SoCal friend, it's nice to see you, my love. The Real Me Too, Karen up in the chat. Hello. Who else do we have? I think I've already said hi to you. Faye, Rebecca, good evening, good afternoon, rather. Anja Denning? Maybe I should just call you Denning? That's Dinning? I don't know. Anyways, I'm sorry. I think the sheriff knows more than he's saying. Of course they do. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Here, we don't release everything, but yeah, I get you. We will go over that. Jerry, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Deborah, it's nice to see you. Pebbles up in the chat. Hey, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Two-speed, it's nice to see you. Lisa. Lisa back from her intoxication of surgery. It's nice to see you. Hopefully the drugs have worn off a little bit. She's probably feeling some pain. So today's probably the most painful day, so bless you. Bless you. West Virginia Holla Girl, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Big Mac Mike up in the chat. Vicky, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Who else? Mama. Aloha, JH. It's nice to see you. Meow is up in the chat. It's nice to see you, love. Arizona Raven. Hello, hello, Faye. The porch guy and the guy in the black that passed the arch behind the porch guy. There's a few things going on here. We need to probably break that down, you know. Jekyll and Hyde, it's nice to see you. Good afternoon. Just My Girls, Crystal Pistol, it's nice to see you. Buddy Love, Lisa Joyce, it's nice to see you. L Dog. They should do a video. Oh, good point. Should do a video billboard. Yeah. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? Lady for Justice, it's nice to see you. Beach Bum, Teresa, hello. If I missed you, I am super sorry. But I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. So thank you for all coming in here and let's chat about this because, you know, I think we forget how many different types of tools they have at their disposal. You know, we learn very little from the feds. You know, we learn so much from our counties and our states, especially when they do prosecutions and the trials. We get to watch them. We get to dissect them. We start really honing in on what the law enforcement does, what the labs do. It's really a good education in true crime and the legal processes behind the scenes, right? As boring as it is for those of us that thrive on this information that just like it fills up our tank, it gives us more information. Always learn. If you don't know something, study it, right? If you're curious about something and you know nothing about it, this day and age, it's so easy to learn it, right? And so sometimes it's boring stuff like having to watch trials after trials after trials, but it's about listening to what all law enforcement's doing, how they're moving, what are their processes when they get to the scene of the crime, when the first responders get there and they identify we have a crime, what comes next, right? Those are the things that you should know. If you're in true crime, you should be an expert on these critical factors because the first thing that you see when a camera crew is out there is usually the front of a crime scene. And so that automatically kicks your brain into high gear looking at, is this process properly? Do they have the perimeter far enough back? Should they do a second perimeter? Many people don't think about that. Sometimes if the perimeter is too small, you need to back that perimeter. You need to widen that perimeter. So you know, you start getting a keen sense to these issues that you don't think about early on, and that's really even when Brian walked up to that door, I mean, he was shocked. Let's not forget how shocked he was walking up to Miss Nancy Guthrie's door with blood splattered all over the outside of that door. I mean, it just is, some of this stuff that you see is shocking, but you know it's not normal. How do we know it's not normal? Because Brian is at a lot of crime scenes, okay? And when he's shocked, then you know that there's something going on here, you know, that this is not supposed to be this way. He's been at hundreds of crime scenes. I've been at 10s to 20s of crime scenes, okay? I haven't been at hundreds, but I've been at a lot. I know that you should not have a crime scene open that soon. And to think that we had to argue with Chris Nanos to say that, it's a little awkward. But again, getting back to Brian Enton, a lot was brought up by a retired FBI agent O'Connell and Maureen O'Connell, and the valid points, but it reminds us that we forget about these other tools that could be useful in helping identify subjects and suspects. And this is one where we're going in the third month. From everything we're hearing from all these different law enforcement sources, they've got nothing. If they got nothing, then why don't they run something to help inspire more people to come forward or to speak up? And would the profile help? I think it would. I think it would. So let's get back to, I think I had one other thing that I was going to talk to you about. We can talk about afterwards. It's the Bahama couple. I found some more information about the Bahama couple that we may want to consider going over here in the near future. But let's pull this whole thing up from Jennifer Coffindaffer. So she says, yes, I'm disappointed about the FBI, that the FBI has not changed the billboards. I think the billboards are important. If you think the billboards are important, raise your hand. Actually, we should probably do 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s, 5s and 6s. We're gonna poll you guys out. So 1s and 2s, do you guys think that the billboards are important, and should the FBI be changing that to feature the porch guy? If you believe the porch guy should be featured, put a 1 in the chat. If you do not believe the porch guy should be featured, that Nancy should be front and center, put a 2 in the chat. We're going to poll. I need to poll my audience and find out where we stand. I mean, we got a smaller group, but I still think that you guys are core followers, so you guys would be, I think you guys are the best people to poll, in all honesty. The billboard with the perp pic, yes. Okay. Yeah, so far we've got a lot of people that agree that we should have. Okay, busy mama. Okay. And I understand why. I think both. Yeah, alternating. Maybe both people featured. Why not? Why not both? Actually, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Both. I think, yeah, maybe both. But the objective, though, is they need to change. The signs need to change. The signs are outdated. I think that we can conclude that the signs are outdated at minimum. You know? So then the next thing she says she's disappointed at is, yes, it's disappointing we have no enhanced imagery from Quantico concerning the video and the photos of the porch guy. I agree with that, too. Because we've identified that it appears that there's a vehicle behind him. A crystal clear vehicle parked right in her driveway. Close to the inn, near the road. But nobody has, from the media, and nobody from the government is willing to talk about that. Social media is the only people that have talked about what appears to us to be a clear SUV of some sort behind the porch guy. And still so far, nobody has talked about it publicly, like from a national platform. I mean, we're social media. Yeah, I say both too. I think both is appropriate. Because you're right, we should have both. Because what if somebody sees Nancy? You know, you don't want to take Nancy off the photo, and that this case is about her. But there should, I mean, we've seen it where one person has one, you know, a photo on one side of the billboard, and the other person has the photo on the other side of the billboard. Why couldn't they do both? And then it's maximum exposure for both individuals. I think that would be the key. But still, either way, the FBI should be making these modifications to those boards. Because from my understanding, they're digital. It shouldn't be anything to change out the digital, just modify it just ever so slightly. Put all the print in the middle and put the two photos on the side, you know? But if they're digital, if they're not printed on the vinyl and having to go up there and be taped, stapled up like that's how they used to do it. You have to get big vinyl pieces of printed vinyl and you have to go up there and nail those on these wooden huge billboards. And nowadays they've upgraded a lot of the billboards to these digital billboards where you could put you upload your artwork to a computer program, and it just starts putting it back into the rotation. So the billboard with the masked man would definitely draw more attention. I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking. But I know that this is about Nancy Guthrie, and she's the one that's missing. So I think that there would be a palette. I think it would benefit for both of them to be present on the billboards. But either way, the FBI has to modify the artwork, the graphics that they've uploaded for these digital billboards. So we have, and then also, why haven't they, looked at more images or given us more insight on that could help, especially the vehicle. Like, I feel like the vehicle is super important, because even if somebody is, oh, thank you, Phil. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. Like, if we can identify a vehicle, I mean, even if they don't want to get the profile out, if they can identify a vehicle, think about it. If somebody is on the fence, aw, thank you, Vicky. I appreciate y'all. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate you. If we were to, we have the porch guy. We know that somebody was missing an individual in their household almost all day January 11th. Almost all day January 11th. And although maybe the people just don't want to believe that their family member could do something, maybe, just maybe, the vehicle being identified might help. Might be like, oh my gosh, they were gone the 11th, they were acting weird, and they just identified the same vehicle that they're driving. Then those spidey senses are going off, where somebody other than somebody that's willing to speak up might be willing to speak up. I feel like I do have to agree that there is more that can be done. I think that there's not only more that can be done, but more that can be put out to the public so they can help. People want to help. That's one thing that I found out here in life, is that people, when given the opportunity, most people want to do the right thing. Okay? We have the thugs, we have the people that have just done the wrong thing their entire life, and that's just how they're going to live their life. That's how they've learned to survive, and you're never going to break that out of them. But I find more than not that normal people, want to help. If you ask them to help, they truly want to help. And so I feel like a little more from law enforcement. I know it makes their life, a little more difficult, because there are so many people looking. And so when one little thing is let out, it causes their phones to be on overdrive. Okay, I get that. But I still think that we're not quite there yet. They still need the public's help. So why not dangle another carrot out there that might help close this case soon? If it comes down to the fact that, they're not wanting to start poking the bear because they've got somebody in their sights and they're worried that this might spook them, there might be some strategy behind the scenes that we don't know about, that they may be deploying because they don't want to rock the boat. Or if it is a family member, maybe they are really trying very hard, or somebody close to the case, maybe they are really trying very hard to keep this ransom note a priority, so it keeps the person a little relaxed while they're still building a case. We don't know what's ever going on behind the scenes, and we hope that they're further along, and we hope that they have somebody identified. But we also know that just because we can hope in one hand and poop in the other, and we know which one will fill up faster, right? So we also know that, we try to use our common sense and say law enforcement has to know more. But what if they don't? I don't think Tommaso is it. I really don't. I don't think his body shape. I disagree, Kim. I just do. But in all fairness, there are people in my chat that agree with you. There are people in my chat that agree with you. I personally don't know. So, I don't have any, I personally don't know. I don't know what we're dealing with here. I just know that so far, I feel like when I hear the right thing, I'll be like, oh, that's it. You know, I've always been like that. You know, I know that what I'm listening to and what I'm hearing is not fitting. Okay. No matter how I try to listen to the professionals, I know everything that I've heard from the professionals, none of them have fit, in my opinion, the facts. But I feel like when I hear it, I'll say, that's it. That, like, I'll know. Like even the dots outside the door. We don't know if she was put over somebody's shoulder and taken out, but you know what? That fit. And it fit perfectly with what we believe we were seeing out there. And so we knew it when we heard it, that is probably a real possibility and a real probability right there, how she was taken out of that front door. So Kim, keep thinking, you know, don't let me discourage your opinions, but I you know, in all fairness, I'm biased when it comes to Tommaso because I've never thought anybody in the family anybody that close to the family was involved in this. It was just a gut feeling I had. I don't know where the gut feeling came from, but I've just never, you know, my audience has to forgive me because I know there's a lot. We have about third and 2/3 that believe Tommaso, or 1/3 of the audience that believes that Tommaso is still responsible for it. So don't feel like you're alone here in this chat. You're not. There's plenty of people here that believe just like you. Deanna, thank you. Aw, you're sweet. I appreciate you. So now let's go to the next one. I do agree that maybe if we had some clearer images, you know, maybe we might be able to see better, you know, skin, better visibility of the lips, the eyes, you know, maybe even the cheekbone structure, you know, how do they believe that the forensic artist that, you know, produced that, she's retired, but she still produced, and I think it's right here. Let me take this off. Let me get on this side. I think it's this one. Let me move my back screen. Yeah, this drawing right there in the middle, the forensic artist did. And she says she's got the lips. She knows she's got the lips right, and she knows she's got the eyes right. But, you know, all the stuff that was under the mask, you know, and she's a well-renowned artist, by the way. She retired, and she said she was willing to give this a real good shot. It's what she used to do. She's been doing this stuff for, I think, like 20 or 30 years. This is all she has done. And so this is the sketch that she had put together based on everything she could gather from the FBI releasing of the video and photo of him. So this is what she believes he looks like. Okay. Now, give or take, it might be he might have a little more full face. But I would focus, if at all, mostly on the eyes and the lips, because those are the most that she's most confident about, is the eyes and the lips. So I do wish that they would, in fact, clean up or modify that image, if possible, enhance it and give us some more details on it. I think that would be good. And then she goes, yes, it's disappointing that the BAU has not released a profile. I think this profile is super, super important related to the porch guy. It would most likely identify an ethnicity, traits, behaviors, features such as maybe living at home with mommy and daddy, maybe being divorced, maybe even identifying how many kids he may have. Just a lot of different types of things could be in this profile that might help identify or get somebody off the fence, because we don't know who knows this guy. So I think it's super important. So I wanted to go over a few things. I'm not ready to go over this yet. This is interesting. This right here is interesting. But I did want to go over this one. So we're going to start first. And I think that this is important. We're going to kind of backtrack a little bit. I know that we're already up to the fact that everybody's starting to call for this profile of the assailant. But I think it's important for us to go back in time and just see what is truly missed. So we have Chris Nanos, which has come under fire. There is a recall efforts He recently lied under oath, and the supervisors of Pima County have now executed steps to start holding him accountable publicly. And he has 10 days to respond to several questions that they are giving to Chris Nanos under oath. But they're going to be in written form versus him having to testify verbally and personally under oath. So I think that is... I think what they're going to end up doing is it's going to ultimately end, because he's going to have to respond truthfully. Everybody knows about his deplorable history with El Paso Police Department, and then once that is on the record, officially on the record, it's going to look terrible. And everybody's going to know that he's been lying for years. You should not be rewarded for lying for years. So let's go over what this... they've missed. Let's go over the items that they've missed. What was missed?
Because if there is any evidence, they don't want to destroy it. So when we learn how to work a crime scene on the FBI's ERT team, if in fact we're working what we know to be a crime scene, a scene where a serious crime occurred, we are not going to walk up and down the front walkway. We're going to create a whole separate path in an area that we check first. It's a cursory check, but we check nonetheless. And we check that pathway. Let's say we walk up the lawn on the left side instead of right up to the doorway like that. We'll make our way to the door if that's where if that's our access and egress. And then we try to keep our movements confined to one certain pathway, if at all possible. If it's not possible, it's not possible. So does that answer your question? So we wouldn't be going right where everyone else is going. Now, if you...
I kind of think what we missed is the fact that Brian was asking them, because this crime scene was trampled. They parked cars where they needed to be getting prints, tire impressions. They just didn't... They were just unskilled in understanding what they were truly dealing with soon enough. This is what, in my opinion, has caused all of these problems from the very beginning. The handling of that initial crime scene, it was a crime scene, and everybody was so untrained that they didn't realize it until it was entirely too late. And a lot of their evidence had already been contaminated, but there's still a way to get around that. And it's because the FBI usually gets there last, is the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Is this the issue that we have? Is this the issue that maybe we're having in a lot of these cases, is that FBI is being called, but by the time they get there, by the time they realize there's something really important that they're needed for, they've already had umpteen million officers trampling over the stuff that they needed to preserve, and because they're there hours and hours and hours later, that maybe this is what's causing some of these problems. And if so, how do we fix that? How do we fix that issue? With the FBI usually getting there, they're usually to the show late every time, because it takes time to get them. So let's go to our next little tidbit of information here. And let's listen to this. Yep.
After the fact, we get there, the local police are there, and then it's like the FBI rolls in.
Right.
Is that an issue? Like it's same with this case, they processed it, and then this was unusual because they opened up the crime scene and then the FBI came and did their own crime scene. But was it hard for you when you would show up to things because you didn't have control from the beginning?
Well, it's definitely not ideal, but no, it's not hard, because if you have a CSI team already in there, they do a really good job. These local teams, they do what most of us can't do, and that is manage an entire team with like one or two people.
I'm completely sorry, but I disagree with Maureen. My lips are not syncing. That's why I'm bouncing back. Because it's the only way I can fix my. We're in the afternoon, and there's something with the bandwidth, and I don't modify my bit rate. So I need to modify my bit rate, and it'll take that problem away. But I don't do that for the afternoon. So, anyways, what we have going on here is she's saying not necessarily. I don't know if I agree with that, because, well, in most cases, yes, we do have teams, CSI teams, that get in there and do a great job. But it's this particular case, we don't have that. That's not, in my opinion, that is not the case here, because if the CSI did their job thoroughly, again, I am knocking on CSI. I mean, I want to know if they were instructed not to do a thorough job at first, just get in and get out. Because they had already had their mind so made up that this was a wander off, that they didn't do a thorough job. Because I can see them saying, yeah, just get in there, dust this, dust that, this lady wandered off, she'll be back in a few hours, we'll find her in a few hours and bring her home. One of those people, one of those things. We don't know if that happens. So this is speculative. I don't want people running around saying, I broke news that this. No, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm speculating here. This is theorizing. We don't know if this is happening. We're trying to figure out, because I just can't understand how the CSI unit left that floor mat there. They saw the blood. They knew the blood was on the outside of that door, so they knew she had to come out that way. They saw foliage there that they could not explain how it got there. They saw a bracket that they could not explain where the camera went. They have blood that they cannot explain, and they have a doormat outside. All of that was left behind. Why? That's what I want to know. I want somebody to, if they get the forensic team and somebody's willing to go under the mic and disguise their voice and name and speak to Brian Enton or anybody else out there that can explain this. I just want to know why. If there's a legitimate reason why they left it there, I just want to know what it is. If not, then there's a reason why they left it there. Were they instructed to? Or did they just drop the ball because they are unfamiliar in how to properly forensically investigate a potential homicide crime? A violent crime. There was blood exhibited. So I just want to know why, and we haven't. So will we have will we have that? I really don't know. I really don't know. And then lastly is where we're getting to the profile. This is where she is stating that she really does think that they need to be releasing this profile out to the public. And I think it's super important that we do release this out to the public. So let's just go right here. And then we'll have some discussions. I'll read. So if you guys are ready to start asking some questions or putting some stuff in the chat, now would be a great time. We still have a lot to go over. We're not done yet, and we still have the update on the Bahama couple
of dried shrubs.
Let me go back. Sorry.
Shared that information with Mr. Dipshit on the front porch with the phallics gunslinger and his little bouquet of dried shrubs. So it could be both. I just am really shocked that we're not in a better place. What I would ask you to do, Brian, is you and maybe even your listeners is to reach out to the FBI Behavioral Science Unit and ask them why they have not put out a profile on.
She's literally asking people to reach out and, ask them, why are you not releasing this? They're probably going to be a little upset with her putting this out on Brian Enton's show, but that's okay. Sometimes I do the same thing when I need to get stuff done. That I'll throw that out here to the audience, because the people out here that are fighting for justice and fighting for the truth, you guys will pick up the phone. That's what's so amazing about this true crime genre and true crime community, is that we do what it takes to apply pressure, do what it takes. I mean, whether it's pressure, whether it's, kindness, whether it's, getting things for a memorial, whether it's an amazing what we all do together. And I do believe people are picking up the phone and asking for this. And I think this is important. If this could help us get the monster that did this to this family behind bars, that is the name of the game. Whoever did this could hurt somebody else. And if somebody says they would never do that, well, where's Nancy Guthrie? Where's Miss Nancy Guthrie? Because I'm pretty sure she's not here with us anymore. I can't be 100% because we don't have her, but we certainly need to find her. And we need to find her very, very quickly. And right now, there's tools out there that could help the public help law enforcement. And they're not using it. And and this is an FBI, a retired FBI agent saying, look, this is important. This could help. We need them to do this. We need to push them. We need to get them on board. Release the profile. Release the profile.
On this person. I know that we got one from Jim Fitz, but Jim Fitz isn't privy to all the Jim Fitzgerald and Jim Clementi. They're not privy to all the information that the FBI is. The FBI needs to put out a profile like they've done for hundreds and hundreds of other cases, be they high profile, low profile, it doesn't matter. They have information about this offender that they could very carefully put into a profile to help people focus on that. Why aren't they doing that?
Again, making valid points here. They have the ability to give us some information that could help us focus 100% on the assailant and the subject. So why are they not doing that? Why are they not doing that? That is the question that we have. So we are jumping on with the, with the professionals here and saying we want to demand FBI release the profile. If this could help bring this subject to account sooner, then we should be pulling out all the stops. We need to bring Nancy Guthrie home. And it seems like right now, not that it's true, but it seems like right now, it seems like the public fighting for the truth and nobody else. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. But it's the appearance. It's what the appearance to the world looks like, And we would like to see more coming from law enforcement that can help, because right now, the way the world's looking, and if we got it wrong, if they're further along than we think they are, then they just need to say so. We don't need to know anything. But, coming out and saying, hey, we got this, we've got this under control here and there wouldn't hurt. But right now, what the public is seeing is that we have no car. We have no motive. We have no assailants or persons of interest or suspects. We have no Nancy Guthrie. And we see no law enforcement out there except law enforcement picking on the people that are going out there asking the tough questions and trying to help and trying to put stuff there and trying to do pieces in front of Nancy Guthrie's house. They're being threatened of arrest. Of arrest. They want to arrest people like me out there, but not a person that rips a woman out of her bed in the middle of the night. What in the hell is wrong with Pima County? You are becoming a spectacle. You're wanting to arrest journalists, but not people that rip grandmas out of their bed. That is the messaging that's coming. That is the messaging knocking on Pima County's door right now. That is terrible messaging. Terrible. I still think the sketch looks like Luke. I do too. And remember, Luke's the only one out of the three that changed his appearance. He changed his appearance, folks. Why would you want to help find anyone? Please come on now. Yeah, we need to find a lot of people, right? I have an appointment I will watch until I have to leave. All right, Candy, will you take care, love? I hope it's not a major appointment. I'm sure you'll do great, whatever it is. I don't understand why the family doesn't keep pleading to the public if someone, you know... There is somebody... Excuse me. I'm eating fruit. There is somebody out there in law enforcement that tells people to, when you have a missing person, don't talk to the media. I'm just like, really? How are you planning on finding this person? And people are dumb enough to listen. And then they wonder why their case is not going anywhere. I'm sorry. But I'm one of those people that believe that when you have somebody missing, like, the only way you're going to find the person missing is letting a whole lot of people know that somebody's missing, you know? So it's just bizarre to me, you know, but again, it comes down to law enforcement not wanting media or social media involved. They don't get to make that choice. So what do? They hinder their own case. Just so they can act like they're doing what's right for the people. And then they wonder why months go by and nobody's arrested. And then when you say it, they refuse to acknowledge it. They still believe whatever they're doing is right. That's the boneheadery of some law enforcement. So, let's see, where else are we? But I don't know why they won't. I think it's incompetence. I think a lot of the problems that we see across this country is incompetence. And we've got to have some seasoned homicide detectives in all these departments, or somebody close by, like districts, you know, like we have districts. You know, I know that there are some places in this country that they just have they don't have the population, right? So they're small towns. They're really small towns. So they get maybe a homicide every 20 years. You know, they're never going to be able to hire somebody that's going to be seasoned a homicide investigator, because even if they hire a seasoned homicide investigator, they're going to be twiddling. They're going to lose their skills, right? They're going to lose their skills. So I believe maybe they need to have at least a really good homicide detective in a district in a situation like that, where, you know, you kind of rent like in a district. Typically when you do a district, which is usually multiple counties, you have one large city in there that has enough money coming in that they can have a good homicide detective and stuff. And it's like renting a detective. Like you'd rent the detective instead of having to have one employed all the time. I don't know. I'm just saying there's got to be a better way. We can't keep hiring people that are incompetent. At the end of the day, we never know when a homicide is going to, happen in our community. And we need people that have experience in homicides, that know how to close a crime scene, that know how to properly process a crime scene. When you see blood and you see a bunch of stuff you can't explain, take it all with you. It's a very simple process. Just bag and tag it. Bag and tag it. Send it to the lab. You don't know what it's there for. Neither do we. Let's not try to assume anything. Let's just collect it all and send it on over to the lab. Let the lab figure it out. You know? But all too many times, we've got trampled crime scenes in 2026 after John Benet Ramsey, which I can't scream this from the rooftops enough. How do we keep trampling on crime scenes of missing persons when we've learned so much after John Benet Ramsey? How do we keep making the same mistakes of our past? And that's where I feel like we're going in this country. Hey, David, someone said this is a psych op and Nancy is in witness protection. Whoever said that's probably needing some major mental help. Probably needs to. We're part of the insane asylum, but we're crazy for the truth, not just plain crazy. I don't think so. I'm sorry. That's people aren't right upstairs, and whoever's passing that around, I'm sorry, but I'd be asking him, did you swallow the red pill or the blue pill? Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So, I know it's not you, but that's pretty comical, though. I do not believe it. I do believe in a lot. I take meds for it. I'm a conspiracy theorist by nature, but they medicate me, so kind of lost my will, you know? Just... Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. We're not commenting on that. That's all I had to show you from him. What else do we have here? Jennifer Coffindaffer. Oh, and this one. This is pretty interesting because this is... I wasn't going to show the whole thing, but this is pretty interesting because this lady is she was former CIA. And I find the statements really intriguing. Let's get back here. It's definitely interesting.
Nancy Guthrie was reported missing February 1st from her Tucson, Arizona home. Investigators have yet to identify a suspect or a person of interest, and there is still no sign of where Guthrie could be. Let me now bring in our national security contributor to better break down these developments, former CIA officer and
Former CIA officer. Did you guys hear that? Former CIA officer. Holy crap. It's hard to believe, like when you look at somebody like this, you don't see former CIA, okay? If you were standing behind her in the grocery store or any other place, is she screaming CIA or FBI? Nope. I just thought this was interesting. I mean, that wasn't the point I was trying to make, but I just thought this was a little interesting is all.
And FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder. Tracy, good morning to you, my friend. Thank you for your time early this morning. Do you find the timing of these latest ransom notes to be intentional? The same day Savannah returned to work.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Marky. Yes, I absolutely find these to be intentional. This is a person that now, for almost, a month, 6 weeks, has waited to essentially put out another note. I think this is a person who sort of wants the fame, wants the discussion, and TMZ is giving them really exactly what they want.
She's absolutely right. TMZ is giving them exactly what they want, and we have made a stand. We're not covering any more TMZ letters, ransom letters on this channel. I think it's damaging to the case. I think it's not bringing us any closer to bringing Nancy home. Nobody's going to pay the ransom, and the FBI needs to follow this. This is not, at this point, it's old news. I'm sick and tired of hearing about these ransom notes. I will not support TMZ. I think they're enabling this to continue to go on, in my opinion. So I'm just sorry. It ain't right. It ain't right. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
The thing that really sticks out to me with all of these ransom notes, Tracy, is the Bitcoin ask, right? Like this latest one asked for half a Bitcoin. A full Bitcoin right now is worth $68,000, so they want 34 grand. I mean, the Guthrie family is...
Yeah, this is not where I was wanted to go with this. We already know about that. I think it's right here. Okay, let's see.
Changed. I'm not surprised that they are using Bitcoin, Margie, or asking for Bitcoin as it's pseudo-anonymous, right? I think that is unfortunately the way that a lot of kidnappers, ransoms, those kinds of things. We've seen that a lot. So that's not surprising in and of itself, but this is what, $34-ish thousand. So the number has changed significantly from when that first ask came in.
And we know other notes throughout the case have been ruled out as fakes. However, just given the coverage of Guthrie's disappearance, what's the FBI doing to ensure they're accurately authenticating
this is the
any
spot.
Alleged communication right
This
now?
is the spot I want you to pay attention
The
to.
FBI doesn't have a choice. They have to treat all of these as real until they are disproven. And so
The reason why I bring this up is because I was just saying this yesterday. Because, Ashley Banfield says she talked to Harry. We're going to be in so much trouble over that. We are going to be in so much stinking trouble. Let me make my face a little bit bigger. I scrolled it down because the lady was up there. There we go. Hi, guys. I can see you now. Way in the back. Hi. But he kept saying, oh, they believe these. They believe the ransom notes. They believe the ransom notes are real. Guys, it keeps going back. I don't believe these freaking ransom notes. And that right there is the answer. I truly believe is the answer. No matter what the FBI, and this is what I was trying to tell you guys yesterday, no matter what, the FBI is going to take these things. They have no choice. They have to take them seriously. Mark Kelly and his wife are safe. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that is. Ransoms are fake. LE needs to arrest these people. Yeah, I definitely think that the ransoms, I don't believe in the ransoms. I've never believed in the ransoms, and I've never had an agent specifically, state that, of course, they're looking at the ransoms because they have to. They have no choice. So I wanted you guys to hear that directly from this CIA and FBI agent here. Hard to believe she's a CIA agent and a former CIA agent and a former FBI agent. She's too young, damn it. She's just too young. Holy crap. It's hard to believe. She must be really smart. Let's go back.
As real until they are disproven. And so that's a good thing. The FBI doesn't have a choice. They have to treat all of these as real until they are disproven. And
until they are disproven. Okay? So when Savannah said she received the ransom notes and she believes at least 2 of them, I'm pretty sure that law enforcement believed that maybe those 2 might have been real as well until they're disproven. I think they've been disproven at this point. Nobody got a dime. There was never any proof of life. There was never any proof that these people even had her from everything we've seen. Nothing.
So that's a good thing. We want them to do that. But the problem is we don't want a sheer, large number of volume to come through to the point that it stops up the FBI in terms of doing this in an efficient and quick way, if they are real, to find her. So I think in this case, what they are doing is obviously my guess is this person is using a VPN and is not in the location that they are saying that they are. So they have to get through that. They're probably using encrypted chat to do this, if this is the same one as the individual who did that in, I guess, mid-February. So that is going to take some time, but they will be able to discredit or credit the person at some point.
So they will be able to discredit or credit the person at some point. And I'd have to think that after 3 months, they got a good understanding about that. So that's just my...
Well, this morning, stock futures have been higher on reports of that ceasefire deal that's been proposed to Iran and the U.S. that we...
I guess that went ahead and moved forward. Let's take that off so it doesn't do that again. And then there's some reports here that are saying that Nancy's kidnappers likely didn't know she was so fragile and dumped her body because she's no longer valuable. This right here is just... I don't know why they come up with these angles to put on, the New York Post. It's upsetting. But it's a given. Of course, something obviously happened here. So we don't know what it is, but the kidnappers likely underestimated how fragile Nancy Guthrie's health was. I don't think they underestimated, because I don't believe they went in there for her. But that's just my opinion about the situation. And lastly, I wanted you guys to see this. Bahama police may have tricked Lynette Hooker's husband into talking to them for 3 hours before his arrest. So you got to remember, the Bahamas work a lot differently. Their laws are a lot different than our laws here in the United States. And they basically told him that they just needed some help. And he said, I have an attorney, but he never exercised his rights for an attorney. They're trying to say that they never acknowledged that he was a suspect and questioned him without his attorney. I think this is just a ploy that his attorney is saying, but I thought it was something that was interesting. Brian Hooker is accused now of doing something to his wife, Lynette, 55 years old. Out in Bahamas, stated that he was on a dinghy with her. They were in rough, choppy water when she lost her balance, fell overboard with the keys to the dinghy, forcing him to have to swim across the sea to seek help, and he was unable to seek help until about 4 o'clock in the morning. And his wife has never been seen again. So they call bullshit. After 4 days, his story wasn't adding up, and they finally arrested him on the suspicion of homicide. And that's kind of where we are with Lynette right here. Lynette looked like a beautiful person, sweet. You can see she's just a happy individual. We heard that her and her husband get violent with one another when they get drunk, and we heard that they drink obviously a lot. So that's kind of where we are in that case. Not a whole lot left. If you guys have made it this far into the show, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the Bullhorn Betty channel if you have not already. And more importantly, if you have made it this far and you would like to hype this show, please consider hitting that hype for me. We graciously appreciate all your generosity for this show, for me, for my mods, and for the coffee club. We thank you, and we will see you guys later this afternoon. Actually, I probably won't. I've got the press conference for the Gilgo Beach serial killer, Rex Heuermann. It happened yesterday, but I'm just now pushing it out today. It's about an hour and something long. If you guys are interested in hearing about Rex Heuermann, about his crimes, that will be dropping here probably by about 4 p.m. I don't expect a whole lot of people to watch it or be interested in it. We kind of lost our footing on that case. We covered that pretty hot and heavy at one point, but we kind of got away from it. Then he was, gearing up to go to trial. And then he ultimately stunned the world yet again and opted to plead guilty, not just for the 7 that he has been accused of committing homicide against, but also an eighth case that was being built against him that they hadn't even charged him for yet. He also pled guilty to that case going all the way back to like 1996. And so it's definitely very interesting turn of events. So if you guys would like to hear what happened, it's about an hour long. It's from the state prosecutor. He brought a bunch of people out, and they just talked about the case. So if you guys are interested in that, it should be dropping in about 2 hours, and you guys can watch that if you so choose. Please consider hitting that thumbs up button if you guys got something out of it. Truly sad, and I just want to say this lastly. If not for the corruption in Long Island, in Nassau County, if not for the corruption, some of these girls could have been saved. I truly believe that. I truly believe that had it not been for the corrupted commissioner, some of these women didn't have to die. Corruption, the good old boy system that happens across this country, has to end. People's lives are in danger because of it. Not only that, but when we have a system like that, it breeds cost. That means you guys pay more, expend more, and we're already struggling. So it's our responsibility to stop the madness. This happens all over the country. This is not unique in New York. We're seeing it in Tennessee. We're seeing it in Arizona. It is, we have to start opening our eyes to this. People are being injured. There is a lot of women because of this serial killer, because of a corrupt commissioner. People lost their life. Multiple people that didn't have to. So I just want you guys to think about that. Think about the victims of these crimes, because they have family members that love them. They have family members that most likely did this to them as well. So we have to try to balance, some humanity with the need for accountability and justice. So anyways, guys, have a great day. We'll see you later this afternoon. If not, we'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. As you guys know, we're kicking off our very first show of the day very early. I'm going to try to keep that around 6. I'd like to keep my second show around 10. Occasionally we can keep that. Tuesdays and Thursdays typically are the ones that are kind of the outliers. We cannot do it. We have to do one early in the morning and one late at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays for it to work out right. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we're going to be having 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. shows. And then if we can, we'll try to have a later evening show if there's something probative that we can go over. So I will see you guys the next show. I hope you guys have an amazing day. God bless.